Y'all watching Friday Night Football on Local 3 News.
From Local 3 Sports, this is Friday Night Football with Ben Bobick, Samantha Casano, and Greg Glover.
Friday Night Football is brought to you by Food City, proudly featuring the certified Angus beef brand, the best Angus beef available. And Sonic, this is how we Sonic.
And now, Friday Night Football.
Welcome to the most must-see high school football show in the Tennessee Valley. Welcome to Friday Night Football on Local 3. Let's keep it simple tonight, fam. It's not about how you start, it's how you finish. And that's the case for us here as we begin our final show of the 2022 season. But it's also the case for the 14 area schools who are still alive in their respective postseason brackets. You started this stream back in the winter. You put in the hours. Week 1 feels like yesterday, but tomorrow is not guaranteed. It's win or play basketball. So let's see who still has their eyes on the prize, and we begin with our Game of the Week.
It's time for the Friday Night Football Game of the Week, sponsored by Warren & Griffin, your local 5-star law firm, supporting high school football for decades in Chattanooga and North Georgia.
We featured some great games over the years in this very show, and if you look back at the last 4 years, one matchup continuously comes up, and that's Red Bank versus East Hamilton. I mean, we're talking one-point games coming down to the last play, region titles on the line, but none bigger than what's at stake tonight, a trip to the 4A state semifinal game on the line. The answer to your question, does it get any better? No, it does not. And it doesn't get much better than sports reporter Samantha Casano, who was on hand for this one a month ago on Hurricane Hill. Samantha, we all want to know, how did round 2 go?
Hey Ben, so often the sequel is never quite as good as the first movie, but this time it lived up to the hype. Last time East Hamilton and Red Bank met up, East Hamilton won the region championship, but this time around, things were quite a little different with a trip to the state semifinals on the line. Canes hoping to fend off the Lions for the second time this season. Eric Hill has taken over at QB for Red Bank the past 2 games. He uses his legs early in this one, weaves around defenders, and has a lot of green grass in front of him before getting taken down in the red zone. 3rd and goal somewhere among this host of players. Red Bank cashes in for the touchdown. Few minutes in and Lions already with more points on the board than last time these two teams met. East Ham responds right away. Juan Bullard connects with David Cole. Don't worry, no cameras were harmed in the making of this touchdown. East Ham down 7-6 after 1. Second quarter, Hill hands it off to DeJuan Morris. The sophomore stays in bounds to extend the Lions' lead to 8 points. Bullard more about the pass game than the run game, a little unusual for JV2K. His last pass of the half is picked off by Jaden Backus in the end zone. It's still 14-6 at the break. Fourth quarter, DeJuan Morris with his second touchdown of the night. It's not a one-score lead anymore, it's 21-6. And then A.D. Crutcher doing what he does best, moving faster than just about everyone else, puts this thing on ice with 2 minutes to go. Red Bank avenges their region championship loss and takes down the Canes 28-6 in the quarterfinals.
That's the key, is kids are making plays, and it's not just certain ones. A lot of different kids are making plays, and so that's the secret, not the secret, that's the key to us. Our success is just building on that and kids being ready to make plays when they have the opportunity.
It's special, we lost the first one, but I knew we had to come back harder to get the second one. It felt good, man. That was the first time. Well, I think that was my sophomore year we had made it. I'm glad to be back.
Coach Gatewood told his team after the game they have taken 13 steps, but there are still 2 more to go. Red Bank is headed back to the state semifinals for the first time since 2020. For now, live on Hurricane Hill, Samantha Casano, Local 3 Sports.
Excellent job, Samantha, and courtesy of our man Brett up there in Bradley County. Red Bank Lions will take on Anderson County at home in the 4A semis. Now to the private side. Only 2 other teams in Division II AAA have ever won 4 state championships in a row: Brentwood Academy and Ensworth. The Macaulay Blue Tornadoes still have the opportunity to make it 3 teams, but they would have to avenge one of their losses this season on the road at NBA, who's undefeated and has shown no signs of slowing down anytime soon. Chilly night up in Nashville as Blue Tornado fired up, have 4-peat on their minds, but we'll have to avenge one of those 2 losses against one of the red teams. This one, NBA undefeated, and this is a big reason why. Ole Miss commit Marcel Reed over the middle to Claiborne Richards. NBA on the move in the red zone now. The end zone. Reed to a wide open Blake Ragsdale, and Big Red goes up 7-0 early. This one rocking crowded NBA. Big Blue fully prepared to respond. Jay St. Hilaire finds Matthew Hebert. Just parked there in the middle. Macaulay on the move, and it's their QB on the move. St. Hilaire right in your living room as the Blue Tornado tie it up. Back and forth game as many expected, but it's NBA who ends Macaulay's chance at a four-peat by stopping a Blue Tornado potential. Go ahead, 2-point conversion. Big Red wins by 1, 28-27. Let's head to Brentwood Academy now, the other semifinal in Baylor. Rolling with their horse, Caleb Hampton. Going to go all the way down to the one. This is second half play too, mind you. Number 34. Well, he made it that far. Let him polish it off as the Baylor Red Raiders build a lead here in the second half. But buckle up for this one. We're going to go right to it. Baylor up 38-32 late, but Brentwood Academy going to go right down the field as they look to score with less than 2 minutes to go. With 1:46 on the clock, they score. Ball game, right? Think again. The Red Raiders march right down the field, come through. It's Witt Muschamp to Max LeBlanc with 25 seconds left in the game. Baylor wins it, off to the Division II AAA title game on the road. What a win for the Baylor Red Raiders.
Man, what a great game by two great schools. Shows a lot of heart on both sides for both teams to come back the way they did. Proud of our guys. We never panicked, and it was just a heck of a game, and like I said, it's a shame somebody had to lose.
Unbelievable final. You're only going to see that here on Local 3 too, mind you. It doesn't get any better than that. Shout out to Photog, John Fitzgerald, who got that in the nick of time. It will be Baylor and NBA for all the marbles right here in the 4-2-3 in 13 days at 7 o'clock at Finley. We can't wait. Now let's go to the scoreboard. The Tyner Ram train rolling on into the 2A semifinals. They'll be at home next week at Wayne Turner Field, and St. Francis ends trying season 34-20 down there in North Georgia.
Here's your pick for the Friday Night Football Play of the Week, brought to you by Center for Sports Medicine. We keep players in the game.
They've been making history all fall. Why not take home our final play of the week honor? CCS quarterback Jordan Gile with a dime to B.J. Holland, who makes a great catch, then gets the fun job of taking that bad boy into the end zone for 6. Our final one goes to CCS. Congrats to the Chargers. And speaking of CCS, Baylor and Macaulay weren't the only teams battling for a spot in the state championship game tonight. CCS hosted CPA with a trip to Finley on the line. Plus, we promised a show featuring teams from 4 states tonight. About that time to dip into Georgia and Alabama. Don't go anywhere. The party just getting started right here on Local 3.
Cheer on with Friday Night Football's Cheerleaders of the Week, sponsored by Wilderness at the Smokies, the Smokies' largest water park resort.
The Division II East Region, AA that is, typically goes through Knoxville. Legendary high school football coach Gary Rankin took the reins at Boyd Buchanan, but the CCS Chargers said, that's fine, don't talk about us. We'll just make it when it comes down to it. And boy, have they ever, as the Chargers hosted CPA tonight in their first ever state semifinal game, a win. Well, you know what game is next. Fired up crowd at David Stanton Field tonight as their Chargers and find themselves one win from going down Broad Street to Finley. But it's the Lions who cash in first opening drive. They go right down the field as Alex Keck does the honors in CPA, flexes that big game experience early. Now the Lions were dominating on the ground. This is their first pass of the game. Probably should have stuck to the run game. Going to be tipped and picked off by Zion Irvin. The Chargers cashing it in as Javoris Havis pounds his way in. And we're tied at 7-7 midway into the first quarter. But CPA doesn't even blink as Cruz Law going to take quite the hit as he crosses the goal line. But he's going to power his way in to put the Lions back on top 14-7. Then problems started to ensue for CCS as they lose control of the ball here. And then the game. CPS just gains all that momentum. Law again finds the end zone as the Lions start to build a lead as they would take the 21-7 lead into halftime. CCS needed something early in the second half, but it's CPA who gets it to go up 28-7. And despite a late Chargers touchdown, it wasn't enough. After a tremendous season, CCS falls short of the state title game, 28-13 to CPA at home.
And this was, our seniors have actually, they hadn't lost on this field this year. And so that was one of our challenges, to be able to finish this season on this field with a perfect record. And it didn't happen. But, football is a great game to teach you about life. And there's always going to be setbacks, and it's just an opportunity to turn those setbacks into a comeback now for our kids.
Fantastic season by CCS, nothing to hang your hat on. We'll be back, there's no doubt about it. We advertised 4 states, let's get to it then. Calhoun at the Reeve, hosting Cal in the 5A second round. In Georgia, Yellow Jackets come out with a punch right down the field as Caleb Ray sniffs the end zone, but he gets them inside the 5. Ray just wanted the big man to get the glory. Emery Winston gets the ball across the goal line, and Calhoun jumps out in front 7-0. Then how about some superb special teams play? Calhoun blocks the Cal punt. It comes backwards, though, goes out of bounds, but the Jackets still very much in business. They couldn't punch it in, though. They settled for 3. Local 3, we love our 3 points. Hey, any points are good points in the playoffs. They make it a 2-score game, 10-0. Then it's the Jackets defense that starts heating up. Longhorns trying to make a play out of nothing, but it's Christiane Gregory gets that big paw on it, jars it loose. Calhoun all over it. Just that kind of night at the Reeve, a Calhoun party. They win it 34-7 to advance to the 5A quarterfinals. Now let's go to Alabama, the Pisgah Eagles. In quarterfinal action, early in the first, back-to-back turnovers. First, it's going to be Pisgah. Fumbles on a lateral pass. Look at that, and Aliceville is going to get it. Then, about 2 plays later, the Yellow Jackets quarterback Tygerian Williams loses the ball. Pisgah sets it up, and it's Mason Holcomb downfield to Grant Smith. Going to set up a nice touchdown run by number 31, Legion McCrary, to make it a score 6-0 Pisgah in the first. Later in the second, Pisgah had a series of big plays. One is this pass from Mason Holcomb to Luke Gilbert, sets up a touchdown. The extra point by Legion McCrary. It was a close one, and it's Pisgah who advances to the 2A semifinals in Alabama, 26-22 over Alice. So let's go back to the scoreboards. Christian Heritage's season, tough one there. They lose by 12. Then Dalton, really tough one. They lose 61-0 to Creekside. We only had 2 playoff games in Hamilton County tonight and only one featuring 2 area schools. There's nothing like a Chattanooga Friday night in the fall, and we're going to prove it to you with our final fan cam of the 2022 season from Hurricane Hill at East Hamilton.
See who's on the Friday Night Football Fan Cam, sponsored by Arby's. We have the meats.
Condo right there for me, see I got codeine in my fridge.
It's time now to strike up the Friday Night Football Band of the Week with Greg Glover.
We're ending our season on the field with the Ringgold Tiger Band. It's the 70th edition of this band, and they're great. Homeward Bound was the name of their show. I hope you got a chance to see it. This last song will get you teared up. It's Coming to America by Neil Diamond, and the Ringgold Tiger Band is your Band of the Week.
When it comes to the cream of the crop of high school football in North Carolina, it's the Murphy Bulldogs, hands down. Well, you know what? Andrews has had enough of it. The Wildcats beat their county rival last year, then again this year to win their first league title since 1983. Well, here we are in the quarterfinal round of the playoffs, and undefeated Andrews will have to go through none other than Murphy to keep their once-in-a-lifetime season alive. Let's get to it. Andrews with the ball, and they give it to Isaac Weaver, and Weaver weaves his way to freedom. A 40-plus yard touchdown run from Weaver, and the Wildcats are on top 7-0. Andrews with the rock again, and they give it to Isaac Weaver again. Hey, leave it to Weaver. Another big touchdown run as the Wildcats roll in 13-0, but don't you dare count out this Murphy team. Cole Laney with a touchdown run here, and here come the Bulldogs. After Murphy recovers an onside kick, they get loose again as Hunter Stallcup gets it into the end zone. They get the extra point. It's Murphy on top 14-13, but it just unleashes the beast that is the 2022 Andrews Wildcats. Donovan Bateman scores, then Andrews takes the lead, and they never look back. How about some icing on that cake? Bateman to Weaver. Weaver! A huge night from number 7, and an even bigger night for Andrews. The Wildcats are off to the semifinals as they take down their rival again 50-23. What a time to be an Andrews Wildcat.
I'm telling you, I've said it for 3 years now. It's just a special group of kids. They're fighters, man. They're winners. They're always trying to find ways to get better. Their preparation this week, I mean, they put in so many hours of film trying to learn Murphy. They're just a special group of kids. They're really fun to coach.
Andrews off to the semifinals, also in 1A North Carolina. We have a final score. Hayesville goes down 49-0. They say all good things must come to an end, but why? We have too much fun on Friday nights. Here to close up shop for the year. This show entered a new era this year, and it could not have thrived without the great people behind the scenes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have amazing student athletes in our area. They deserve to be showcased. We can't do it enough. One final time, thank you. Have a lovely, lovely weekend, everybody.
Friday Night Football is brought to you by Food City and Sonic Drive-Ins. We thank the Chattanooga area Arby's for feeding our Friday Night Football team. Arby's, we have the meats.